We, the jury, find the defendant, Michael A. Mattioli, not guilty.
We're following breaking news. A former Milwaukee police officer found not guilty of killing a man while off duty. Michael Mattioli visibly emotional, breaking down in tears as a judge read the verdict.
It took the jury 5 hours to decide Mattioli was not guilty. He was charged with first-degree reckless homicide in the death of Joel Acevedo at a party at Mattioli's house in April 2020. Tonight we have live team coverage. We begin with 12 News' Nick Bohr, who was in the courtroom as the verdict came down. Nick.
And Patrick, I was sitting right next to the family when that verdict did come down in this case. The Mattioli family also breaking down right along with him in tears of relief as that verdict was read. It came after a long day. The jurors, in fact, just an hour before that came back and said they couldn't reach a verdict, but the judge urged them on, and then they did come back just a short time later with that not guilty verdict, and it came at the end of a back and forth day after closing arguments where both sides tried to one more time make their case.
The picture you see is a man, Mr. Mattioli, who's angry, who's intoxicated, who has restrained and prevented Joel Acevedo from getting up, who didn't pay attention to what he was doing. And he was just on there. And there was no sign he was going to get up until the officer said, "Get off him,"
as you've sworn an oath to do.
But Mattioli's attorney stressed, as he did throughout the trial, that Acevedo's asthma and cocaine use played a much bigger role in his death than the restraint.
Is it possible that these severely compromised lungs, coupled with the use and abuse of cocaine, the use and abuse of alcohol, the use and abuse of cigarettes, and the struggle with Mr. Mattioli brought about his death? Accidentally. The death was an accident.
Thursday, Mattioli himself testified he was acting in self-defense and was only reacting to Acevedo struggling with him.
The whole reason I did this was to prevent him from hurting me or hurting anybody else, and just holding him there until the police could show up. And I knew they were coming because I called them.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
His attorney today in closing arguments stressed to jurors a final time that Mattioli didn't realize his restraint could be fatal.
There are no winners in this case. This is a tragedy beyond imagination. But the cause of it, and ultimately the cause of Mr. Acevedo's tragic death, was his own conduct. Mattioli didn't ask for any of it.
And Nick, we have not heard from Mattioli since the verdict came down.
Right, Patrick, we waited outside the courtroom hoping that he would come out, but we understand that he is with his attorneys at this hour doing, as we're told, a debriefing, trying to basically figure out where they go from here. Certainly we're interested in hearing their side, their reaction to this verdict.
All right, Nick, thank you. And 12 News' Hannah Hilliard continues our live team coverage from outside the courthouse. Hannah, you spoke with Joel Acevedo's parents.
Yeah, they are a heartbroken family tonight, Kristen and Patrick. Now, they walked out with their supporters within seconds of that verdict coming down here at the Milwaukee County Courthouse late this afternoon, and there were a lot of tears and emotions in that hallway.
He's already home. He's already home. Yeah.
Now, it's been a 3.5-year journey for this family following the death of Joel Acevedo back in April 2020. The family's attorney this afternoon says he appreciated the fact the case was prosecuted at all, but that was not enough for Joel Acevedo's father. Take a listen.
They came to their decision, and I totally disagree with it. Joel was never the aggressor. I don't know why that didn't come out in court. If anything, he was being attacked by 3 individuals, the so-called Mattioli's friends, that they use as witnesses. So you tell me, how fair is that for my son?
There's a lot of questions. There's not a lot of answers, but there's peace that I can find. There's peace that they can't take, because I know Joel is home.
Now, I did ask the family if they were satisfied with the prosecution in this case, with the evidence presented in this case, and that was the one question Jose Acevedo, Joel's father, declined to comment this afternoon. Now their attention turns to a federal civil lawsuit they filed earlier this year against Mattioli, as well as a former and current Milwaukee Police Department employee. Kristen.
Years-long journey down to 1 week. Hannah Hilliard, thank you, reporting live. And here's a look at the makeup of the jury. The group of 8 women and 4 men deliberated 5 hours before coming back with a not guilty verdict.
And this case is not over despite today's not guilty verdict. Here's a look at what's next. 12 News has learned there will be a vigil at 6 o'clock tonight at 6th and Greenfield. We will be there live. The Acevedo family has vowed to keep fighting as well. Their lawyer says the family is pursuing a civil case.